Hi, my name's Bailey, and I have obsessive compulsive disorder. Yay! I started working really hard to treat my OCD about 18 months ago, give or take. I think it was the summer of 2024 when I was like, okay, I have horrible OCD. Let's get this under control. I've learned a lot of things since then on how to treat my OCD. I've received a lot of great advice. I've tried a bunch of different things, including things that did not work well for me. I discovered that focusing on ERP, exposure response therapy, was not the way to go for me. And it helps a lot of people, and I definitely implement big pieces of it into my daily life, but I mostly focus on CBT, grounding, mindfulness. I want to tell you the 5 things that helped me the most important, vital pieces of information I received in learning how to treat my OCD. The first thing is the flashlight method. It's pretty much a grounding technique. It teaches your brain to redirect your focus, and it works hand in hand with some of the other things I have on this list. You'll see it kind of all ties together. It all contains like very similar ideas. Let me tell you a little bit about this flashlight technique. You're gonna want to close your eyes and visualize a dark room. It's completely pitch black, except you're holding a flashlight. And your flashlight's pointing on one of the 2 tables in the room. It's pointing on your obsession. So when I learned this method, I was really struggling with somatic OCD, particularly my breathing. So I imagined myself pointing a flashlight onto just a wet pink pair of lungs flopped onto the table like a wet specimen taken out of the jar. And I'm standing there in that dark room. I can't see the other table. I'm pointing my flashlight on these lungs. And then I imagine myself moving the flashlight so it's pointed to the other table. And on the other table is whatever I want to be focusing on. So if I'm drawing, there's my sketchbook on the other table. If I'm just trying to scroll on my phone, it's my phone. If I'm in class and I'm trying to take notes, there's the whiteboard. Whatever needs to be on that other table, whatever you rather have your mind on, that's what's on that table. When you move the flashlight, can't see the lungs anymore. And the reason why this method works so well is because you're allowing the obsession to stay in your mind. You're accepting it. You're telling yourself, it's cool. The lungs can stay on the table. Whatever. The breathing obsession, I can keep having that. But let's just redirect my focus. The main concept of that grounding technique of recentering your attention, it's basically just accepting your negative thoughts and feelings with compassion and redirecting focus, which is what you should be doing all the time to treat your OCD, even if you don't, if you're driving, you can't exactly close your eyes and visualize a flashlight. But yeah, that really freaking helped me because I had spent, I think it was about 2.5 weeks breathing 24/7. That is the only thing that got me out of it. The second thing really helped me, specifically with my agoraphobia. It works in a lot of different scenarios. Let me tell you a few phrases, okay? Just listen to these phrases and then, ponder what you think about them. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna be okay. Nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm gonna be alright. Never say any of those things again. Don't do it. If you sit there and you swear to yourself, everything's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna have a panic attack. I'm not gonna throw up. A plane's not gonna crash into my house. You're only validating your fears. You're telling yourself that, oh no, these things might happen, but no, they're not. Can't do that. You have to do the opposite. Yeah, I might have a panic attack. Yeah, I might throw up. Yeah, a plane might crash into my house. So what? I've survived all the bad things that have happened to me before. You gotta say stuff like that to yourself. That's what's actually gonna help because it's gonna train your crazy brain. Oh, so these are real possibilities that I'm stressed about, but they just don't actually matter. They're just not as severe as I thought they were. That's what your little OCD voice is gonna be saying to itself while you're not listening. Number 3 really goes hand in hand with this. It's radical acceptance. You want to make the phrase bring it on your new best friend. As soon as you get an intrusive thought, you gotta be like, yeah, Let's make that happen. Bring it on. For example, sitting on the floor in my room, and I'm filming this video, and I think, what if I have a stroke right now? This is how I gotta react. Hell yeah! Let's have a stroke! Okay. Bet they have really good jello in the hospital, and life's been kind of boring lately. I want to learn how to walk again. Bring it on! Now, obviously, no one wants a stroke. You don't want to wish that upon anyone or yourself. But if you think like that, your brain's gonna be like, oh, so I'm worried about something that we actually want to happen? And then you'll slowly stop getting intrusive thoughts. Number 4, grounding techniques. They're so important. When you have an anxiety disorder as severe and debilitating and time-consuming as OCD, there's a really good chance that you're going to experience some type of derealization, depersonalization, disassociation. There are going to be instances where you feel completely detached from reality because you're spending so much time in your head focused on what's not actually real that you're not going to feel like you're actually a part of the real world. I personally struggled a lot with derealization. When you have OCD, you're going to be in your head way too much. You have to learn how to ground yourself, how to center yourself, how to jump back into the world. And there's a lot of great grounding techniques. Different ones work for different people. I really like just paying attention to my senses. I'm sure if you've ever had some type of panic attack before, you've heard of the one where it's like 10 things I see, 9 things I think it's 5 things I see, 4 things I feel, 3 things I hear, 2 things I smell, and 1 thing I taste. I usually crop out the taste part because most of the time when I'm really anxious, I'm also nauseous. There's that technique. Just paying attention to the way your feet feel on the ground or something like the wind hitting your body, just things like that. There's a lot of great resources on YouTube, and you're already on that app. Go find them. And the last thing that really helped me was Lexapro. God, medication changed my freaking life. Shout out to Lexapro for real. So yeah, that's everything. I really recommend you try the flashlight method. You stop telling yourself everything's gonna be okay, because it's okay if it's not. Radical acceptance. Bring it on. Try the grounding techniques and maybe give medication a shot. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. And if you want to watch my whole story about how I was at the rockiest of rock bottoms, the most miserable person alive, and then I pulled myself out of that using some of these techniques I listed here, that's my last video. I told my whole story. I think it's pretty inspiring, if I do say so myself. Thanks for watching.